everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the ESC Daily Show. We're in a bit of a strange setting today. We're here at the Euro Fan Cafe, recording for the first time in front of a live audience. And my guests for today are Clarke from SBS, from the Australian delegation, and Houtermans from Belgium. Songfestival.be is your website that you work for. Just as a quick introduction, Paul, you've come a long way. Have you settled a bit in Stockholm already, or are you still jet-lagged?
Yeah, I've settled. Stockholm is my favourite city outside of Australia. It feels like Australia, it feels like Sydney because of the harbour, and yet it feels a little like London because of the great grand buildings and palaces. So to me, Stockholm is like a second home. It's my 5th time I've been here. Next time I buy an apartment.
So Philip, you've just come from the press center because you had to stay a lot later than us because the very last country today was your country. How was Laura at the press conference? I haven't been there.
She was very energetic, like during her performance. She was very enthusiastic, and there was a lot of press present, and she won their hearts. She was really charming, and she was so nice and natural, and yeah, it was great.
She had all the reasons to be happy because today was her first rehearsal and it went really well. Let's take a look at what's been happening these past few days here at the press center here in Stockholm.
No.
This is Dami Im backstage from Australia before her rehearsal with the dress that she's working with.
Performance.
And showing it off. Here we're going to the big stage where Just from Latvia is having his first rehearsal. That went well. He was quite of a calm staging compared to many of the other competitors of this year. Russia, for example. Here we have Ukraine, Jamala, who's on stage today. Here she's talking backstage to the guys from Eurovision.tv, but we've seen a wonderful rehearsal from her today. And this is Nicky Byrne from Ireland, one of the bigger names in this contest. He is, of course, from Westlife, one of the big stars in the competition, but mixed reactions to his first rehearsal. And there she is, Laura from Belgium.
Great voice.
Were you guys happy with the first rehearsal for Laura today? I think everybody was.
Yes, we asked everyone in the press center, and everybody was enthusiastic. It wasn't so in the beginning when the song was elected in Belgium. Nobody was happy with the song. But now we've seen the stage performance, and it's amazing. It all fits. She dances perfectly. She has 4 background singers that also dance, and it's complete. It's off. We were very proud. Yeah.
Have you seen bits and pieces from the competition for Dami already? Have you seen some of the rehearsals, Paul?
I've seen very little because I just wanted to concentrate on our performance. I saw all the film clips in our office. We tried to do the Spanish dance, but we just wanted to try and focus on Dami and not to worry about what other people were doing, because if you see other people have got blue in their background, you want, oh, should we have blue? Should we change? You want to just focus. So we thought we would have a podium, and we thought she would be in a white dress. And then we turned up, and in semi-final 2, there are 3 podiums and there are 3 white dresses. But it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be okay, and it's going to be individual.
Is it a strong semi-final, you think? Is the competition strong?
Yes, I think it is. I think last year it was very strong. I think Latvia could have won last year. I think Belgium could easily have won last year. I think a little part of me thinks Guy Sebastian could have won. I think Russia could have won. I think Mons was a worthy winner. His song and his performance and the production were wonderful. And I'm very happy to be here as a result of the Swedish hospitality, and they're great hosts. But there was Italy could also have won. So there were many. I was so inspired by Latvia. I was so inspired by Belgium. And it made so much difference to me. I went out and hired the lady who did the production design for Latvia, and she's working with us this year. Nicoline Refsing from Denmark.
Building bridges.
That's it, we were building bridges. It's more like the space race, taking the best of the European minds and putting them to work for you.
Philip, how about you? I've seen you, I've sat next to you at the press center watching all these rehearsals. Which are the strongest contenders in this semi-final?
In the second semi-final,
Yes.
you mean? In the second semi-final, we've seen some good performances, but we've also seen some performances that still need some work. I think the strongest performances of today were probably Ukraine, Belgium. Those two were really good today. Bulgaria grew. After three rehearsals, she got a lot better. Of yesterday, Latvia was one of the big contestants.
Yeah, we saw him on
and
the video as
Serbia.
well.
Serbia was very good yesterday too.
All right, so now that you've seen them all from 1 through 18, are you confident about your chances for Belgium, now that she had such a good rehearsal?
Well, yes, actually I am. If she performs like she performed today, next week on Thursday, she'll definitely qualify because there are a lot of ballads in this semi-final. The songs coming just before Belgium, in my opinion, aren't that strong. And then you have all this energy of Belgium on stage, and she's the last one to perform. So people will remember her, and I think that will get her to the final.
Australia also confident that you will get to perform your song more than just on the Thursday?
Look, we clearly hope so, but well, you can never tell. I'm always surprised by the decisions that are made. For me, when I was in Azerbaijan, I thought Pastora Soler from Spain was one of the best songs and performances I'd ever heard on a Eurovision stage, and she came 10th. And, you know, those things, you never know. So for me, I think we just do our best. I really believe in Dami as a performer. There is something about her that she is like a lightning conductor for human emotion. And we all want to believe, and we want to believe in singers. And she really makes me believe. And she's very honest, and she's very vulnerable and genuine. And I think, and to me, she looks very vulnerable in the setting that we've made. And I hope that the audience come forward to her. So I'd like to think that we went through. All we're really doing is going one day at a time, and we'll see.
You mentioned her being so honest. We can see a little bit about that in her press conference, which we can take a little look at the clip right now.
So this song, Sound of Silence, is about feeling disconnected from your loved ones. And, you know, these days, everybody's connected through social media and, you know, their phones and their apps. But then somehow we feel so, you know, far away and somehow ironically disconnected from our loved ones, and people feel lonely more than ever. So that's the message behind this song. So we're trying to portray that with what's happening on stage.
The dress. It's wonderful. I mean, I've read about it on the SBS Eurovision website, but how does it make you feel on stage wearing that dress?
Oh, I'm so excited about the dress as much as I'm excited about this whole performance, really. It is designed by an Australian designer called Stephen Khalil. He's an amazing couture designer, and to be wearing that beautiful big dress, I feel, it makes me feel really confident, and I feel good. I feel like Beyonce.
A very honest Dami Im talking to us about her act, about her dress. Philip, as an outsider, of course, because I'm sure you were happy. How did you like the first rehearsal for Australia?
Well, I loved the first rehearsal of Australia. I think I had an interview with her today. She is very humble. She's very sweet. And when she sings a song, when she performs, you feel the emotion. You feel what she's singing about. And in my opinion, her performance yesterday was almost perfect. So I don't think there's a lot that needs changing. And I think I see her ending top 3.
Last year, you said after the first rehearsal of Guy Sebastian, we didn't really know how this whole thing worked, and we just wanted to throw everything at it, and maybe we're going to downsize it a little bit for the next one. What have you learned from that, working towards this first rehearsal for Dami now?
What we learned last year, I think that we went about it like we sort of it was very last minute. Guy wrote the song on the last day that it was allowed. So we fell onto the stage in Vienna together, and we had to develop from there. So I wanted to have more of a plan. We wanted to arrive with something better. And the idea that Dami was talking about was like, we wanted to do something on the theme of come together, and we thought to deal with that paradox of being disconnected in a connected world, and to try and paint a picture of the future a little bit beyond now of social media. So, but we still had no idea what it would look like when it hit the stage. We've had a very good Swedish designer of the content, but he was so busy that we never got to actually meet. So the first time I saw it was on the stage properly. And I thought,
Not much that needs to be changed for the next rehearsal?
it's tweaking now and just trying to connect particular moments, but I think it's good. I would like to really put a picture of Dami's husband in some of the images that go by. I thought that would be good because when she first heard the song, can I quickly tell you this story?
Sure.
I heard this song. We started off, I worked with Sia many years ago, and I asked her for a song. And she was so busy, she was putting an album out. She said, I've got this song, and it wasn't quite the right song for us. And we went to a songwriting team of the most popular songwriters in Australia called DNA, David and Anthony. And one of them, Anthony, sang the song, and he made it sound like an 80s, like a Tears for Fears song. So when I heard it, I was like, wow. And then, could this work for Dami? And Dami heard the song and she said, it makes me feel like when I'm away from my husband, when I'm touring. And so I really want to get his picture in as she swipes the screen. I want to see him go past. Anyway, so that's the thing that we're changing.
All right. When we were talking a little bit already before the show, you mentioned, and you just said it again actually, that in Belgium there was a big promise for a huge national final with 5 big songs and big artists, and some people were a little bit disappointed. Do you feel that in Australia it might have been a little bit along the same lines? Because you had Guy Sebastian last year, and you had a lot of people saying, well, they're going to go for an even bigger name, and the wildest dreams were being mentioned. Delta Goodrem, you mentioned Sia. Do you think people were happy when Dami Im was the name in fact announced?
Yes. Dami has a particular audience that really connect with her, that they're so loyal and so passionate about her. So I loved the fact that everybody went great. There was a lot of people were not sure about Guy, and he just said, Paul, it's like Taylor Swift said, haters are going to hate. And by the end, everyone in Australia was behind him. I think that there's something about Dami that Australians just went, she's perfect for you. And there was a lot of support behind her from the start. But I think it'll build. I really hope that Europe come to see what I see in her. I just see this person on open aperture, and I think she can really interpret an audience's emotions and channel it. And so I hope you feel that. I mean, ours is not the best looking visual act, but I feel really good that we've got someone that can really connect the audience.
So, Dami Im, she loves Eurovision. She said so at the press conference as well. Whether the Eurovision audience is going to like Dami, we asked a few people in the press center their opinions about this. Let's take a look.
Who knows? Maybe, of course, next year we will not go to Australia. We will go to any country of Europe. But I think Australia has everything to win this year.
It's a radio song. It's easy to listen to, so I think many people will like it. It doesn't demand a lot of focus or getting inside this performance with your feelings and so on. It's just a nice song with a very eye-catching performance. So I think yes, it can be a song that will get points in many countries, but we'll see how many points. But I think yeah, it can reach huge audience and get a lot of votes from people.
Russian people also vote for songs like other people of Europe, yeah, for songs and performances which they like, which they like to see, and of course I think many people will vote for Australia.
Russian journalists think that people all over Europe, even from west to east, also in Russia, will vote for this entry. Philip, what do you think? Is this a song that can score well across the entire continent?
I'm pretty sure of it. Everyone in the press center yesterday was very impressed. She gets to you, and I'm confident that she has a big career in Europe after Eurovision. After Eurovision, okay. And now we don't have any sound anymore.
Is it still working?
Okay, this one's working. So I think she has a very big career after this in Europe because she's so lovable, and you can't help but fall in love with her when you see her perform.
I'm really touched by the Russian points there. Russia is the dark horse of this competition. They are always so powerful. Like last year, the song was great, the staging was great, you know, and to have them say that is really exciting. I think Sergei is so strong, and the design. It was done by the people who did the Man in the Box for Azerbaijan. And
Focus Evangelinos.
Yeah, just such brilliance. And when we started thinking about what we would do, we were thinking maybe Dami could start lying down and everyone said, no, you can't start lying down. And then we saw Sergei in his clip, and that's what he was doing. And I went,
we can do that too.
You can do it if it looks that good.
Yeah, but I don't think she can do it with that dress.
No, that's true.
All right, so points from all over Europe. Another great result for Australia, perhaps even again on the cards. You did great last year as well. But I've heard that your ambition goes further than just Eurovision. Because we've been hearing these talks about the Asia Pacific Song Contest that you guys are going to produce. I haven't read too much into it, but I know that this kind of format is they've tried before to copy it into Asia, and it didn't work out. What makes you guys think that you can relaunch it and make it work this time?
I don't want to sound arrogant, but we have been so fortunate that the Eurovision audience have accepted us. It's a real family, and there's a sense that I'm sure not everybody thinks that Eurovision, a lot of people possibly think it was better before Australia came in the last couple of years. They possibly liked it as it was.
No, I don't think so.
but they've been good enough to welcome us in. And for us, we love to compete, but we just love to be a participant, that more than anything, because we're so far away. So what we wanted to see if we could build a bridge for this wonderful... The funny thing is that I feel so connected to what happens in Eurovision and the sense of excitement and passion and collision of eccentricity and ridiculous, brilliant performers, unusual people. I've never seen a television show like it. And for me, I just fell in love with it from Moscow when I was there for the first time. And I thought, I have to try to put my energy into this and develop for Australia that we would become part of it. And we've been allowed to do that. And that's partly our team and partly everyone at Eurovision. And we so appreciate that. But what we hoped was that we could build a bridge of the best and biggest and oldest music competition to the world's biggest music market. There are 900 million people with mobile phones that watch television off their phone in China and in India. The musical virtuosity of India, the diversity of China, the K-pop, Japan, like they're all very different. Thailand, Philippines.
How similar is the show going to be to the actual Eurovision Song Contest?
Almost exact. The change would be, I think, what we want to do for the first year is to just do a grand final. And I mean, Eurovision started with 9 performances. We would hopefully get more than 12, but we already have some countries that are very interested to do it. So the funny thing is with the zeitgeist is that many people have the same idea at once, and there are 5 or 6 Pan-Asia song contests doing the rounds at the moment. And our job has been to go to these places where Eurovision always isn't known and to say, this is the perfect format because it respects the diversity of your country. You can celebrate your nationalism, how you're different, and you can wear it with pride. And we would love you to be part of it. So far, so good. We're hoping that we can do it in March 2017.
Which Asian countries now broadcast Eurovision? China's going to start this year, but...
That's true. China broadcast. We broadcast. Thailand broadcasts. New Zealand broadcasts.
Are all those
Singapore
countries going to be in the Pacific contest as well?
I'd like them to be, but we'd also like to expand it to India, to the subcontinent, like UAE, Qatar, Kazakhstan. Take it right from there, right across. Fijians, Vanuatu people, Tahitians, New Zealanders. There is Tonga. There is incredible vocal histories and cultures with those countries. So it could be really diverse and really exciting. And we hope one day that you're watching it here. So see.
Would that mean that when you start the Asian Pacific contest, that this year you were invited for the Eurovision, last year you were invited for the Eurovision, would that mean that you would only take part in that contest, or if you get invited again to the European Eurovision, that you will be here too?
This is the best musical party in the world, and anytime we're invited, we will be here.
Okay.
That's an answer we like to hear.
It's really important to say that for us, it's such a special thing, and for our network, SBS, it's one of the biggest shows in the year. So we obviously want to be part of it. And a lot of our audience are from Europe, and they've settled there, whether they're Moldovans or Belgian or Dutch. Everyone wants to connect with their artist and see what's happened this year. So we really want to be part of this, but perhaps we can be part of Eurovision growing to being a global thing. And I think that's important because it's a very special show. We would never want to lose its specialness.
Yeah. Would you find enough artists, if you're doing 2 contests a year, would you find enough artists to do both of them?
It's a big music scene, Philip.
Yeah.
But still.
Oh, look, I'm sure. But I can't say that will happen. We can't assume that we're going to be invited back next year. We just have to do well this year and try not to spoil the party.
Yeah.
So we're going to slowly round up. Can you tell me just a little bit, in a few words, how the rest of these Eurovision weeks are going to look like for you? Paul, start with you.
Well, for us, it's a day-by-day proposition. You just work with... Dami came off stage yesterday and she said to me, I feel like I've been hit by 100 trucks, but in a good way. And she meant that just the energy and the adrenaline and the excitement and just the focus on her was so great that she's not back to rehearse until Saturday. So it's like, just calm, just relax and just take it one day at a time. So for us, next week it's very busy. We're bringing a Chinese delegation across to look and maybe be partners with us. They'll come next week, and that's, for us, we'll be working with Dami and we'll be showing them how Eurovision works, and all the key technical and creative people in Eurovision will be helping us to host them.
But will they be here to help you organize the Asian Pacific Eurovision, or will they be here to participate in the European Eurovision?
No, they're here to see how it works and to see if we can possibly make a partnership between Australia and China as the first point, and then roll it out from there.
How does your week look like towards the final, Philip?
Well, the next 3 days is going to be tough. Tomorrow and Saturday, there will be the second round of rehearsals. So we'll be in the press center from 8 in the morning till 10, 11 at night, doing interviews, watching the rehearsals in the auditorium. And then on Sunday, there's the red carpet. So we'll be interviewing the artists on the red carpet. So the next 3 days will be tough and a lot of work. Next week will be a bit calmer because next week it's the shows. So we'll be interviewing only Laura and probably Douwe Bob. And apart from that, we get some time to see Stockholm, I hope.
Lots of Eurovision coverage on songfestival.be for people who speak Dutch.
Well, not only people who speak Dutch, we also translate our articles into English and in French.
That's great. I saw a great interview with Dami Im on your website, so for all the Australians, definitely check that out. And of course on www.escdaily.com. Thank you for watching the ESC Daily Show tonight here live from the Euro Fan Cafe, and have a great Eurovision weeks.